I want to invite everybody. I don't know about all of you. For myself, in my younger days, I grew up in a very Judeo-Christian environment. And the whole Christmas story and the classic version of the Christmas story and all of that. And then I stepped into New Thought, New Age, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, we call it. It goes by all kinds of names. New Thought. And I got invited to reframe my view of Jesus in Christianity. And remember that Jesus is his birth name is Jeshua bar Joseph. Nice Jewish boy. We often forget that. And to reframe what he meant or what he means for us today. And what he means for me today. So when I come up to talk about Christmas and Jesus and the Christ and all of that every year, it's close to me. It's important to me. So let me share with you some thoughts I have and some thoughts Ernest Holmes has and others along the way about not just Jesus, but what he came to show us about who we are and about what we are. Because he said, and I didn't go back and look it up because I know it's in there. It's in the New Testament, in one of the first four Gospels, where he said that these things I do, and you shall do also. He came to be an example for us of what we can do, of who we are, and what's possible for us as individuals to live and to love. And to remember that he came as a divine example for us, not an exception. Exceptional, no doubt, but not an exception to the rule. He came to redefine and reset the rule of being for us so that we could aspire to be something greater, something deeper, something more important, something more impactful than maybe we have imagined for ourselves up until this point. He came to be an example of divine love in this world and to show us what's possible. What's possible in terms of our way of being in this life. So what if you knew? It's very common in personal growth circles to say, what if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you try to do if you couldn't fail? If you knew absolutely that you would be a perfect and absolute success at everything you tried, what would you do? So today I say, what if you knew that there is a divine idea of you just beyond what I can see? What if you absolutely knew that if you swept aside just one more doubt, one more level of uncertainty, that the divine idea of you would shine forth in this world? What if you knew that the path to healing was as simple as remembering who and what you are? Remembering that divine idea of you that is love and peace and joy and health and wholeness and prosperity. What if you absolutely knew that there's a perfect pattern back of things that appear. That if I simply allow myself, or you simply allow yourself to love yourself absolutely wonderfully as you are, and still hold the idea that there's still more growing to do, there's still more becoming to do. Can you hold both of those things together? Because I hold that that's what Jesus came to show us. That the birth of the Christ consciousness, which is the divine idea of who and what we are, is what he came to show us. You see, because the birth of the Christ in Jesus is the birth of the very same thing in each and every one of us. That's what tonight is about. It's about remembering that there is a light that is growing in each of us each and every day with every breath. That is simply waiting for us to wake up to it just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. With every breath, with every thought, with every movement of growth that we have in our life. To have a sense of joy about being. It was like last night, Katie and Logan and Megan, who were off in the other room having a good time. We went out looking at the lights in the neighborhood last night. I can't remember the last time I did that. Just walking around the neighborhood looking at the lights. And how fun. We walked about a mile and a half, about 30 minutes. And there's this one we walked, and I kept seeing, there's this little intersection. I kept looking and seeing this big display. On the back of my mind was going, you know what? Those are the folks that are kind of leading the way. And I bet that neighborhood is just full of lights. Didn't know. Just my guess. So last night we walked over there, walked into the neighborhood, and sure enough, it wasn't just this one little house on the corner with this big display. It was like, I don't know, a dozen houses, the whole street, everybody. And they were like, you can just imagine competing with each other and cooperating with each other every year, adding a little bit, not only in front of their houses, but they had strung lights across this, like from house to house across the street. It was amazing, just amazing. And it's like the light. It's like that light inside of us, like with every season, we get to grow that light just a little bit more. Like they add to their displays, I'm sure, every year. See, we get to do that. We get to be that light. Not just for ourselves, but for everybody around us. We get to share it with our neighbors, share it with our friends. Because it's in the sharing that cycle keeps growing, keeps expanding, keeps moving forward. Ernest Holmes has this to say. The Christ. The Word of God made manifest in and through us. We put on the Christ to the degree that we surrender to a limited sense of life. Surrender our limited sense of life to the divine realization of our unity with Spirit. We let go of the limitation and open ourselves to a larger idea of who and what we are. We let go of fear and embrace love. We let go of doubt and embrace surety. We let go of the limitation to embrace something larger. Meister Eckhart wrote this: God never begot but one Son, but the eternal is forever begetting the only begotten. And that is happening inside of us, always. That eternal spirit is forever being born and reborn and renewed inside of us each and every day. That's what he's saying. It's always happening. It's that expanded sense of life, that expanded sense of being, that expanded sense of who and what we are, that we get to by way of prayer, by way of meditation, by way of our interaction with each other as we learn and grow together, as we move through life. As we walk in the world, remembering that that eternal Son is happening, is being born in not just in me, but in everybody. Each of us, an individualized expression of spirit, each of us, a divine idea within the mind of God, being born and reborn and revealed as we learn and grow together. And as I grow, I begin to see more of that in you. As I strip away the haze, as I strip away the doubt and the uncertainty about who and what I am, I'm more able to see it in you. And as I'm able to see it in you, when I am seeing that in you, I am calling that forth from you at the same time. It's this whole symbiotic cycle that happens. Because why? Because we're all connected. Because we're all one. We may appear to be separate from each other, but that same spirit that manifests itself in Jeshua bar Joseph some 2,000 years ago is that same spirit that said, hey, I need to be Colette, or I need to be James, or I need to be Reverend Jill, or Bob, or whomever. It's being birthed in each and every one of us all the time. Not just Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but with every thought we think, with every beat of our heart, with every breath we take, it's always happening. The light wants to shine forth through you and me. That is the eternal gift. That is always being born. So I would ask you to remember to walk in the world, knowing that everywhere you look, you see the face of God. Because that is how Jesus walked in the world. Everywhere he looked, he saw that. That is why when he was walking through the crowd, and the sick man who was next to the pool just touched his hem and was healed. That is why the centurion could walk up to him and say, you know what? I get to speak your word and it's done. I know it's done. My son will be healed. That level of faith, that level of belief, that level of knowing is possible for each and every one of us. That is what I seek, and I know it is what each of you seek. We all want to live with a sense of love, a sense of joy, a sense of peace, a sense of knowing that all is well, that life is good. Life is good as you and as me and as everybody you see when you walk in the world. That is what it is. That is the birth of the Christ in this world through every one of us, not just today, but every day. Because that Christ idea is the divine idea of each of us in this world today. So with that, I will turn it over to you. It is your turn. If you would like to share, if you have a question, anything to add, I invite that now. Anybody? Victoria? Thank you.
That was really lovely. Really lovely. And I was thinking with the world, sometimes the way we see it today, I had read somewhere that in all the world, people are either giving love or asking for love. And I think sometimes we don't see that with people. You know, we don't see the asking for. And it's so easy to love the lovable. It's not so easy sometimes to love those that are really hurting and acting out. So I think what you said today was really very important to look at the world, to try to look at it the way Emerson, Thoreau, Holmes, Bill W. looked at the world. You know, they looked beyond what we see physically to what's behind all that. So thank you so much.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Anybody? Don't make me start calling names.
That was my growth has been phenomenal, thanks to all of you. And I'm at the stage now where it's the receiving part. I've done all the thinking and all that sort of stuff, but now it's the receiving. And it was, I think it was the Thursday night we were talking about as far as um, when people want to give you something, don't say, "Oh no, that's fine, that's great." I'm really working on the receiving part and just being open to that and not blocking the reception of it. And the other thing that Reverend Lee mentioned to me this morning is, to be part of, be more conscious of receiving is do things different. Like he said, you shave it the same way every day. He says things are subconscious like that. Just do things different. Go home different ways. Oh, don't make me do just to break it up to be conscious of receiving different things different ways.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Anybody else? Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right. I won't call names. It's okay. Okay, practicing principles. This week, very simple. So the thing the little thing I like to invite you to do: set a couple daily alarms in your phone, and just label them like everywhere I look. Right, so you'll remember the phrase. So pause a few times, 2, 3 times during the day, and just take a deep breath, look around, and remind yourself everywhere you look. You say, "Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God." Person, place, thing, whatever it is. It's a very simple little practice, makes a big difference. Big difference in your life. So, all right, let's pray. How good, how wonderful it is today to join together and remember that it is within a power and presence we call God that we live and move and have our being. That all there is divine life, divine love, everywhere present. Infinite and divine intelligence, wisdom, joy, whole, complete, and perfect at every point. It is said that there is not a spot where God is not. It is everywhere. We breathe it, we stand upon it, we sit upon it, we walk with it. It surrounds us in each and every moment, with every breath we take, every thought we think. The food we eat. It is in the blanket that wraps us at night. The car that we drive to and from work every day. It is in the pen that we use to write our notes. The phone that we hold in our hand, the computer that we use at work. It is in our pets, our friends, our families. It is everywhere. And it is in me, in you, in us, right here, right now. And so we go forward into this time together, knowing and trusting that God is all there is. That is whole, complete, and perfect as each and every one of us. So if anybody has a desire, a question, something that we are working on, working through right now, bring it forward and just simply let it go. For we know that, I know that for each and every one of us, we are whole, complete, and perfect in every way, that divine love, divine law, divine order rules and takes form and substance according to our heart's desires, and we know that they are fulfilled right now. Whether it is health, wholeness, prosperity, loving relationships, whatever it is, the light of truth shines forth and sweeps aside any thought of lack or limitation, any doubt or uncertainty is simply dissipated. Right now, we look the fact in the face and tell the truth that all is well, that life is good, as each and every one of us. And so we go forth to serve, bless, heal, and prosper our lives and those around us, the community we serve. All is well. All is well and life is good as each and every one of us. The light shines forth. The Christ idea of us is expressed in its fullness through each of us right here and right now. And so we let it be, and so it is.